Nah, but let's not talk about that. I was just joking.
I might be talking about whatever.
Yo, flipping. Guys, were you guys at the? No, was anybody caught in that traffic on Tuesday?
Nah,
Nobody?
I heard it was bad.
It was rough. Yeah, I heard it
I've
was
never
rough.
been in
You
traffic
know,
in my life.
we were about to go to OC, yeah?
Yeah.
And then we were just like getting the boys showered, getting them dressed up.
And then
It's long,
sitting
man.
in that traffic.
And it's not even. We didn't know there was traffic at first.
Oh, so God saved you in a
Yeah,
sense.
so just said let's, and then we were just seeing messages. I was
I
like,
think you pulled up at like what, 7:30?
8
8.
I pulled up
You're
at
like
8
10
o'clock.
minutes.
Before I preached.
No, not before you preach. Like you were 10 minutes away from your house,
Yes.
and then an hour away from.
Yeah, so
from the
it was
thing,
crazy.
isn't
It's
it?
crazy because obviously you want to come out that. So I'm supposed to be at OC for 6, well before 6 anyways. So we leave around 5:15, 5:10. So we left around that time, and there's usually traffic right outside the house when I leave at that time. So I just go on the bus lane. John just goes on the bus lane. I don't.
No, there was one time I was actually behind you, and I wasn't gonna go on the bus lane, but then I saw you go on the bus lane. I was like, okay, if the feds see us on the bus lane, they're gonna grab you. So I was just following behind you.
What about if the guards are behind you?
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? No, he's doing this well, he's doing this well.
Then they grab over us.
Bro, you got through that, and then once I was approaching the M50, I was there for. I remember approaching the M50 for 30 minutes. I said, "Yeah, this is crazy." Yeah. But I was locked in. I was locked in. I couldn't move out of it.
But then, do you normally stay on the? You know when you leave in the house, yeah.
Yeah.
There's the N7.
Yeah.
Do you go under the bridge?
I go under the bridge.
Okay.
I went under the bridge.
Because I always see people lining up. Just go under the bridge and kill like 5 minutes of your time.
Exactly. So I went under the bridge. And I've gone around now. I haven't even merged into the lanes. I've just gone around.
Oh, around.
So as I've gone around, I'm locked in now, but I'm there for half an hour. And so this is going to be a long day. Yeah. Then I'm moving forward, and then I'm realizing that once I've got into the M50, I was locked in the M50.
Yeah.
There's no way out of the M50.
Yeah.
I was done. So I was like, oh
Long
my
day.
God. I saw
Was it crashes or something?
It was, I think a truck was on fire.
Damn. Jeez.
On fire.
Yeah, it was fire. Videos on fire on the truck. Yeah. And
There's always something like.
always on the M50.
Do you know what?
man.
Always something on that.
I actually think a reason to one of the major reasons to a sharp decline in driving is phones.
As in like driving standards, people like crashing
driving
and stuff?
standards, bro. You can see, bro. When
like
you're
people on their phones when
yeah,
they're driving.
because when you're driving, you can actually see it.
Yeah,
like
it's really bad. Yeah.
But
Do you blame?
This fella,
I think it's
he's
bad
sending
to-
messages
it's
both
definitely-
because like you literally see someone driving, yeah, they're doing the speed limit, whatever the case is. All of a sudden, they're just slowing down for no reason.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
They're swaying slightly. They're just swaying and slowing down. Nothing's happening. You look into the car.
They're watching the football match.
They're watching the football match
Yeah.
or someone on their phone, and then you try to go around them, and then all of a sudden like, oh yeah, I'm driving.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never done that.
What you say?
I've never done that.
Watch football while you're driving.
Never.
Nah.
No,
Watch podcasts while you're driving.
No,
Why would you do
because
that?
it was too dangerous. It was too dangerous.
Watch your show while you're driving. That's crazy.
No, that's crazy.
You should watch your Google Maps.
Exactly. That's what you
Just watch
or
that.
listen.
Have it in the
listen to
background, like, do you know what I
music.
mean?
Yeah,
Like,
listen.
Yeah.
Music videos crazy.
No, it's
Nah.
definitely. I'm definitely seeing a decline in driving.
It's so
standards.
bad.
Like, people are crazy on the roads. these
Well,
days.
I just think the whole driving thing is crazy, though. I feel like, yes, of course, people shouldn't be like distracted while they're driving, but at the same time, like people, the time to drive, like the time before you can actually drive legally on the roads in Ireland, I think is ridiculous in terms of man have to. Okay. So my wife is doing like lessons at the moment.
Right.
She's driving automatic.
Yeah.
She's already driven a 60 road.
Yeah.
Second lesson.
Okay. Yeah.
What does she need 12 lessons for? She's on a 60.
Just to make sure, innit?
I know, but I guess by lesson 6, she might have.
But then I think
Mastered
the 12 lessons were for manual cars.
I hear that. I hear that.
No,
Yeah.
like that's why like when
It was
they came into play, it
created,
was great for manual cars. But now that automatic,
They have a law, just
you
have
can
a law
learn
for it.
to drive in one day with automatic.
My wife had
Just a
this
bumper
thing.
car.
My wife had it is. It really is.
It is.
Just
It
put
is.
your foot on the
It's a
pedal
little
and you're
bumper car.
good.
Do you know what I mean? My wife had this thing in her head for years where she couldn't drive a manual car. And anytime we got on a manual car, she'd be breaking down. She'd be so upset. Like, I can't do this. But we got her a manual car, an automatic car for her birthday a couple of weeks ago. She's already flying around.
Yeah.
She's like, I can go on my own. It's fine. I don't need you anymore. I'm not being left behind. Do you know what I mean?
But like once you do automatic though, going back doesn't make any sense.
I hear it. like
But
obviously,
I love a manual.
I love a manual.
I love a
Like,
manual.
I'm in automatic at the moment, and yeah, like especially for that traffic, it's just a It was perfect.
You're just biting point in one for 2 hours.
Yeah, that's
oh
crazy.
my god.
Yeah.
and that's crazy.
You're getting shin cramps and everything. Yeah.
Honestly,
Get me out of the car.
but with the manual, I especially gear 3. I love going to gear 3,
three,
man.
yeah.
Oh, flip sake, man.
Yeah, yeah.
After that, just because 3 is my that's my push.
You're
you know what
punching
I
it,
mean?
yeah.
But no, I don't know. I think it's there should be definitely something for automatic cars if you're going to learn with automatic
And I
cars.
swear it's more expensive to do your test with automatic as well. Like,
Is it?
I think
No,
so.
it should
Really?
still be the same
I think
85.
so. No, I think so.
Should be at 85. Yeah?
Because when I was not to book it, to do the 12 lessons.
The lessons.
Oh, the lessons.
Yeah.
Oh, that doesn't make any sense.
Because actually to find automatic cars is actually very for lessons it's not as common.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
I think the wait for a test now is crazy.
It's insane.
Like my wife's waiting months now.
Yeah,
she
yeah,
could be
you-
getting a test next summer. Do you know what I mean?
No way.
Yeah. Funny enough, she she had to do her theory test 6 times, so we had to invest €850 in theory
what?
No,
tests.
theories like the
You know the
45 quid,
for
no?
multiple choice questionnaire.
Wait, huh?
6.
She had to take it 6 times.
50 quid.
To be fair,
That's patience as well as come
2
on.
times she couldn't go.
Okay,
So
okay,
she was like,
okay.
I can't go. But 3 times. I was a bit like,
To
now
be honest, my wife has booked
my
it
wife
5
is
times,
incredibly
never went.
intelligent.
Is it
And
before
this is
she
the one thing I
passed?
have over her. So
Is it before she passed?
oh yeah, before she she
Okay.
didn't pass it and then keep doing it.
No, because wait.
Okay,
I know someone who's done it 3 times.
The
And passed 3 times.
Why did they do it 3 times then?
Oh, John.
No, it wasn't. No, it actually wasn't John. It actually wasn't John. It
No,
wasn't John.
but why would you do
So
that?
it expires after like 6 years or so.
Okay.
3 times.
that's crazy.
18 years.
18 years. It can't be John. It can't be me.
18 years. That's
So I think
crazy.
you
Yeah.
can renew your learners for I think 4. Is it 4 times? But now they're putting a new law that I think.
I think after the 3rd time, you have to book a
Yeah, I
full.
think something
You
like
have
that.
to.
You have to
Yeah,
book it.
yeah.
And
But
to be honest,
You have to
fair
book a
enough.
test to be able to renew it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's fair
yeah,
enough. You like
yeah.
3 years.
no,
You
that
had time.
Yeah, that
it is.
definitely happened.
John knows about that, yeah?
I went in. John went in. Can you renew with the learners? She goes, it's been 5 years. Nah, I think she said, yeah, she just told me to I have to book a test before I was able to book my
Renew.
full.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
renew it. And I couldn't renew it. Yeah, so I had to book my test to renew. Yeah, it was that.
Do you know,
I booked theory to renew the.
Bro, I couldn't book my test for a long time. You know, airport driving school. I did my 12 lessons with them. They only filled in 10 on the RSA website.
No way.
So I couldn't book my full.
Damn.
I had to email them. Like, I emailed them in like January, boys. And I was chasing them.
January of this year.
Yeah. And the only
January of this year.
Yeah.
You don't have your full. How old are you?
Hey, yo.
Hey,
Hold
yo.
on. Do you have your full license? Yeah. Do you have your full
Hey
license?
yo, man!
No, but I did my theory. I did my test there. Failed it, yeah?
Oh,
No, bro.
Happens the best of us.
No, boys, I'm not going to lie to you. I had only 4 marks. Yeah.
All extreme dangerous.
No.
What was the grade?
So what happened was a cyclist just came out of nowhere
Damn.
as we were on the way back to the center.
Knocked him down.
no,
Let
he
you off.
shagged you.
Yeah,
Should let you off.
yeah. A cyclist.
What did
Wait,
he
so
give
what
you?
happened?
You weren't
Like,
aware,
what
yeah?
happened to the cycle? Did you hit him or
No,
what?
I didn't hit the cyclist, but like I was in the middle of a junction, so I was trying to stop.
Right.
I was slowing down, and then the instructor just goes cyclist. I was like, I see them. My foot's on the brake. But she goes, because I told you of the cyclist. I'm like,
But you're gonna do it anyways.
bro,
You just got there before me.
She might like if I can't find the thing now, but like, bro, I was grand.
Yeah.
That one thing is what shagged me.
Mad.
Oh.
I was so pissed
Oh,
off.
what is it
tough.
like? Is
Yeah.
it grade? That's a grade 3 or something.
I can't even remember.
Like
to be
grade 2 or
honest.
something. It's like
Yeah.
I think you only allowed 1 or so.
I failed my first test in 2012. Do you know what I mean? So I'm driving for a minute. Like I started driving when I was 17. Like, do you know what I mean?
So yeah, I had 4 grade
17,
2s.
mad.
For a minute. Yeah, 4 grade 2s.
I have 4 grade 2s.
And you're allowed 3.
No, you're allowed. No, I was fine with the 4.
Oh, okay.
But what happened was I just got that 1 grade 3. Done me.
Mad.
Oh, the grade 3.
So if you only got 1 grade 3 and no grade 2s, would you have been fine? Or?
No, you would not be fine. You can't get a grade 3. That's like dangerous, basically.
okay.
Yeah. They basically
no,
say-
I hope you you said some things about that cyclist in the spiritual.
Don't worry, I was pissed.
How could a cyclist?
Because they broke the red light as well. Because I had right away.
Damn.
So she just.
I think she was just being mean, man.
Nah, she was actually a lovely woman. I can't even fault her.
I thought it was a conspiracy for so long. I thought it was like they just fail everyone, just so that people would pay more to do an extra test. You know, I thought it was a scam.
My my tester
Instructor?
Yeah, instructor.
said to me, "You've been driving long, haven't you?" I said, yes, indeed.
She could smell the bad habits on you.
He goes, but like he. Like so I did like a pre-test on the day.
Oh yeah.
And the dude was like, "Yeah, you're failing." He said
On the day.
on the morning of, like he just goes, "Oh, like he's an Indian guy." He's like, "Oh, you're failing, definitely." He goes,
Definitely.
Yeah, he goes,
Absolutely.
He goes,
Like-
"You know how to drive. You know how to drive, but you don't know how to do drama." Drama. I was like, because that's what they're looking for, right? They're looking for you to do all the
extras.
I was just turning like.
But you didn't even do two hands. You didn't even push pull.
John
10 to 2.
John
Yeah,
drove,
10 to 2.
John drove
Yeah.
to his driving test and drove in. Like, here's the problem. No one's going to use the instructor's car.
Yeah.
John still drove into the place where, like, where they're
where you
going to
did
test
it.
the cars.
Yeah,
Like, where they're going to
And he parked like.
parked it there and then moved to. Such an idiot, man.
Oh no, man.
John is a crazy
Tests are hard
fella.
though. Like I remember when I was doing my first test, like I cut out twice, and automatically then I'm panicking. I don't know what's going on, and in my mind I'm like, oh, if I mess up again, I'm going to fail this test. And your man, the next thing I hear was, I just said to go left. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I snapped back into it. Your mom was telling me to go left 3 times. I didn't even hear it. I just drove straight. So yeah, he was like,
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh no! If you're
Yeah,
panicking,
you're done.
if you're panicking that level, then you can't even hear.
And the man over there, he's like, I said go left. I was like, oh shit, sorry. Yeah, so it was, that was
so
grim.
funny.
And I was like so confident before. I was telling all my mates, no, I'm gonna pass first time.
Bro,
Yeah,
that was
grim.
me. Bro, I was just like chest high. I'm gonna pass. I'm all right. I'm
Yeah.
good. I know how to drive. I did 2 pre-tests as well. And my instructor was just like, "Oh, you're good. You're good."
Oh,
I think they be saying that as well sometimes.
mine was honest with you. He just said,
No.
You're gonna fail.
know,
yeah, it's
my
raps.
guy, I just
he was
quickly
wrong.
got into the habit of it. I was,
Yeah.
because I could be an actor with it. Which I was like, oh, I was doing all of that.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I was doing the whole
Yeah,
thing.
the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Except for the cyclist.
But yeah, like I think for me when I was doing the test, because he said it that morning, I was thinking about everything he was giving out to me about.
And
Does
you
that make
avoided
sense?
it.
Yeah, I guess.
So like as I was making the mistakes, he's like wrong. He's telling me. So I'm
Yeah.
now thinking about that while I'm doing the actual test. But because my instructor is actually very quiet, all he's doing is saying left, next junction right. So he's not correcting me.
I hear it.
I'm now thinking about all my mistakes. I'm
And you're
just
getting in your own
fixing the
head.
mistakes. No, I'm just fixing it in my
Okay,
head. So I'm
okay.
actually like doing way better than I was before because I was actively thinking about my mistakes.
Yeah.
And thinking of how to correct them because I know how to drive.
My
I've been driving for a long
my
time.
instructor was sound. She actually gave me a hint as well, because I missed the blind spot warning. So she did the blind spot.
That's what they do.
thing.
They be doing that for you.
She did the blind spot thing, so then I did it as well. I was like, all right, okay, yeah. I played it off.
Did you do it yours in Kulok or?
Kilester.
Oh, but that's a tough
Does
one.
Tala have the
Did you know
highest
the
pass
rules,
rate or
though?
fail rate? It's one of the
Did
other.
you know the
I
rules?
think.
I didn't know the roads,
Has
but
to be
like it
passed.
wasn't anything crazy. I've been driving long enough.
There's some
better
rules
pass
that are
me,
like.
I know
Nah,
you do.
there was none of the roads were crazy.
Yeah?
Yeah, just hill start, locked.
I was like,
locked in.
Tyler's beautiful.
Yeah?
Tyler's beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. What did you do yours? Tyler, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You don't have a mic, bro. Oh yeah, because it's being used.
They said to her, "This is your first time driving on this road."
Yeah. If you know the road, yeah, true.
Yeah, you've lived here all your life.
Yeah,
so
so bro.
you know,
You know the next
You-
right,
you-
the
you
next
tell me-
left.
tell me left.
You know the roundabout.
I knew what to kind of expect if I went to the
Yeah.
left. Like there could be.
They're not going to take me into Sundale.
Yeah.
They're going to tell me to go left. You're already throwing
The
head.
worst place to do a test would be Jobestown
Scanning
because
like John
it's
Stones.
the flipping it's the scooters.
Oh yeah.
People crossing the road anyhow as well.
You be grabbed.
Oh, so
They weren't
much.
as much of a thing when I was like starting to drive and learning to drive and doing my tests and stuff like that. But nowadays, it's wild.
Yeah.
They just come out of nowhere. Somehow they're always dressed in black.
Yeah.
Like,
And covering the face. Yeah.
Apparently, you need a license now or something to drive.
really?
No. So the scooters are legal, and you can only up to 60k, 60 km, which is crazy.
60?
60
kilometers?
Wow.
Yeah,
Are you sure?
For a scooter?
Either 60 or 40.
That's mad.
Because I work in places where
use
I
it.
can get that information.
Okay, yeah.
That the police can actually take it off you if it's above. Yeah, they go into gardens now and take it off people.
Right. Okay.
They're
How
allowed
did
to.
they even know
Wait,
that?
guy-
Yes, they're allowed,
Guidance, why?
they're allowed to go in
Yeah.
and seize the vehicles. Yeah.
But why guide is not being used?
I don't know. It's just
It's probably you're not allowed to possess it full stop.
I don't think guards were allowed to go into gardens and take the bikes or the scooters before, but now they are.
Yeah,
So
they
if someone's legging it from them and
Oh,
they go into the
okay,
house,
okay.
they can't go into the
Yeah,
house. They
yeah.
can go and get the bike.
Yes.
The guard.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Maybe.
if they're sure, that's why. If they're sure that
That's
you can
why.
get it. Yeah. So no, it's mad. It's mad now. I think it's, and again, I've heard many stories, especially up in Jobstown, of people. Many young people have died from
Scooters.
yeah,
Unfortunately, yeah.
Because someone's one like little pothole or anything
It's
like
done.
this.
You're flying off it.
You're
Like-
flying off
a
it.
single thing, and they, have you ever seen anyone on the scooter with a helmet?
Nah.
Yeah.
Just by the clavas.
Someone today? He's saying
Yeah, but it's probably a grown man though.
It's probably
going into work.
Just the
Yeah,
driver.
go to work.
9 to 5.
yeah, he wants to come home.
Yeah.
To his family.
Plays Astro on a Sunday. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Nah, so people have died from it. Some young man had actually ran straight into a pole. One of the
Did he die?
died. Yeah.
Damn.
Some have been in hospital for weeks and months, in comas, and so it's just really dangerous if it goes wrong.
Why
I
not
mean,
just
it
buy
was-
the bike though?
It was scramblers when we were younger. Do you
Yeah,
remember like
yeah.
scramblers
Yeah.
and quad bikes and stuff like that?
Yeah.
They used to be the thing. And every single Christmas, every single New Year's, you'd hear of some incident
died, yeah.
or accident or something like
Remember
that. you know?
those jokes?
What joke?
That had no
Hoverboards.
hoverboards. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
The amount of people who smack the back of the heads because of them is too funny. It's too
Segway.
funny.
Segway.
Yeah. I remember having
Segway.
Segway, and you lean forward a little bit. Nah, that thing was wild.
A lot of fraud boys got it on Ford.
Always
a
coming,
lot.
and you know that's a fraud boy because he's coming in.
Coming into school on a Segway. What's going on? And then when there's stairs, you have to get off the Segway and walk.
From Thailand.
And everyone's just looking. Everyone's looking. Can I have a shot? Can I have a shot? I was one of the guys that asked.
Don't
for
your
a
choices.
shot.
What a time. What a time.
Segway.
Jeez.
Does anyone remember Heelys? I was talking about this the other day.
Heelys were dope, man.
Did you guys have it?
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely.
I never did.
I had Heelys.
Honestly,
and
thought it was the coolest thing in the whole world.
honestly, man.
Loved them. They're so cool.
Oh, you're walking normally and then you go. I had something called street lighters. I don't know if anyone remembers that, but
Light up shoes.
No, so
Make you run faster.
no, the lighter shoes. I mean,
Light up shoes, man.
no, this was like they were like Heelys, but you could attach them onto the back of your thing, and it would light up in the dark or whatever it is when you were like rolling. So it was one of the things that I never had. My friend had it, but like I used to
You
use
borrowed it.
Yeah, I used to use it. Yeah, it was.
Let's do an intro.
Yeah, oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Where's Your Head Up podcast. It's your boy KD,
King Grooves.
No.
and we got a.
Special
Is this your
guest.
second or third time?
Second time.
You've been in this studio many times.
I've been in the studio many
Yeah.
I've done a few. Yeah, I've done a few episodes here.
Yeah. And we got our bro Leon in the building. How are you, bro?
I'm good. Yeah, thanks a million for having me.
Yeah,
all
thanks
good.
for coming on, bro.
Of course.
I think we're having a conversation privately, and I guess you asked to come on because we want us to talk about the EU generally
yeah.
and kind of how. To be fair, I think this conversation is good for me as well because I don't even
Same,
feel personally.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't give a.
I
I don't want to say I don't give a rat about it. That's not fair. But like I just sometimes I feel when you look at government and I guess organizations that big, I always feel like what impact can I have?
Of course.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
think a lot of people don't care about things that they don't fully know about or don't understand.
True.
So this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to spread some awareness on the EU and stuff like that. And we're working with the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade in order to, I suppose, show the EU as a catalyst for change and some of the positive things about the EU. And yeah, I suppose just giving people general awareness of the EU.
Yeah, I think for me, obviously, EU has just always been, in school, you have
Yeah,
these
you heard
countries that,
SPHE,
yeah,
CSPE,
these countries that are part of the
Blue flag with the
EU,
stars and stuff.
exactly. And where's the headquarters in Brussels or something? is it?
Brussels, yeah. Well, there's a couple.
Belgium.
There's Brussels in Belgium, and then Strasbourg in France as well, and then there's some buildings as well in Luxembourg.
Yeah. So first, like, I guess introduction. What obviously I know it's the European Union, but what is
the European Union?
Yeah.
That's what it's essentially a collection of European countries that work together in order to build peace among countries, build kind of economic prosperity amongst them as well. And I suppose just to ensure that there's kind of shared values amongst Europe as well. I think individual countries don't really stand a chance on their own, and they can find it difficult on their own. But when they're part of like a bloc in the world that can negotiate on their behalf, make decisions together, make laws together, so that they're all kind of operational. And then as well, there's other positive things as well, like kind of freedom of movement, being able to travel, experience new cultures, meet new people and stuff. It's brilliant.
Schengen visa as well. That's when
and then you've got things like Erasmus as well, which is really like in third level, people are able to like go and travel in different kind of EU countries and stuff like that, which is, it's so good. The UK are trying to get back into it now, after Brexit and stuff.
Really?
They're trying to get back. They're rejoining Erasmus.
Okay.
They're not trying to. I don't think they're trying to rejoin the EU.
I was gonna ask that actually, in terms of like the UK, when like, was it a net positive or was it negative for them to leave the EU? Looking back at it, I know it's like 5 years.
I mean, this would just be my opinion, but I think it's a net negative. I think they were sold a dream. In my opinion, for their campaign, in terms of the Brexit campaign, they were told there's going to be more money going into the NHS. They're going to be able to improve or they're going to be able to decide for themselves in terms of migration and stuff like that. Yeah. But both of those things have deteriorated in the UK since they've left the EU. In terms of economically, they're struggling quite a bit. In terms of migration, they're like, there's a lot of difficulty in the UK at the moment around migration, and then the NHS is on its knees at the minute. So,
literally,
but that's just my opinion. Like, that's not the EU's opinion or
opinion
and stuff like that.
I was in London a couple of months ago, and it's so interesting that you say everything you say, because I was speaking to someone that had literally the opposite opinion.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I think this is the best thing ever.
Yeah, because he I guess his perspective was from like he was talking to me like he grew up in Cornwall, so it's a small like fishing town, and he goes, once the UK joined the EU, that fishing town was completely decimated.
Right.
Because of, so obviously as part of it, they weren't allowed to fish. So the amount of fish they were allowed to fish was reduced. Yeah. And all of a sudden, these people that had businesses, they can't sustain it anymore because there's so many other things that other countries need to be involved with. So it's kind of like, I think...
I think you need to look at kind of individual towns' benefits versus the whole country's benefits.
Of course, So I guess the reason I was saying that is because it's easy for those people in those small towns to be convinced to vote leave EU.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because of, that little town has been decimated as a result
Their livelihood.
Their livelihood has been affected. But like, no one is looking at the potential big picture of like, if UK as a whole leave, they're in trouble. And I think that's probably how it was sold to a lot of people, which obviously then...
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I was in the UK recently as well, and like, it's a cool place. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's lots of great, things there, like young, or things for young people, or great scenes and stuff like that, great arts and culture and stuff like that. But I think as a whole, we're starting to see like people that are at risk and stuff like that beginning to suffer more, that type of stuff. And that brings the standard of the whole country down.
When you think of Europe as a whole, right at the moment, where's your head at with that?
I think Europe is in a crossroads at the moment. I think it's being tested by a couple of different things. It's being tested by the likes of Trump, who has come in now and is kind of setting tariffs and stuff like that on kind of trades and stuff like that, which is difficult for a lot of business owners in the EU. We have loads of different geopolitical crises around the world, which is causing mass immigration to Europe, whether that's for safety or for work, or to flee persecution or whatever it is, which is putting a lot of demand on countries in terms of their asylum systems, and that's bringing about different issues like political division and stuff like that as well, which is really difficult. And then, you've got the elephant in the room of Russia and Ukraine, and that, there's literally a war in Europe at the moment, so I think Europe is in a challenging time, but I think that's the time where it needs to show its true character, and show that we can be united in diversity, and use that diversity as our strength, and all of us as individual countries working together to overcome, these challenges.
Yeah, I think when especially in Ireland, sometimes we can be in a sort of like a bubble.
Yeah, definitely.
Of like, oh yeah, this is what's going on in Ireland, and we just focus on. But we forget that whenever the war broke out and all this sort of the crisis in different parts of the world, it wasn't only Ireland that was affected by it. It was literally
The whole of Europe.
The whole of Europe.
Yeah.
I remember Germany took in 1 million people at one in 1
I
year
think
or so.
that was under the Syrian crisis.
Yes, Do you know what I mean? So I know it's been, when you think about it properly, it's all of Europe that's actually
affected by this. Yeah, absolutely. And there's lots of discourse going on around migration at the moment, and I remember I was sitting down with my uncle having a conversation. We were having a bit of a dinner, and I was like, Europe should be doing more, should be doing better, and he was like, Leon, at the end of the day, and I got to see this after he said this, I got to travel to different places. He was like, Leon, the world is a jungle and Europe is a garden, and we have a lot of rights and benefits in Europe that we take for granted. We think do you know what I mean? We have a lot of freedoms, we have a lot of protections that sometimes we can take for granted. And that's the benefit of the EU in terms of protecting us, making sure that we have rights, making sure that we've got good standards, making sure that there's regulations there to protect us, because that's not present in the rest of the world. I've been able to travel to the US, I've been able to travel to Africa, I've been able to see some of the different kind of standards that people are having to endure, and I'm like, that it just wouldn't happen.
Like we were talking about the job market off cam earlier on, and some of the things that is happening to people in places like America, I was like, that wouldn't run here.
That's right. No, it wouldn't.
It just wouldn't run because we're being kind of looked after.
Rights,
Do you get me?
So these are a lot of things that young people might not realize about the EU, and I'm not going to say take for granted, but not fully understand that the EU is creating these things and making sure that things like their data and stuff like that are being protected and not being able to be ransacked like they are in other parts of the world.
Do you know what's interesting, right? When we were younger, we idolized places like America or the US, so different parts of the world where it's kind of if you were to go to America today, there's a, with the healthcare itself, if God forbid anything happens to you in America, there's a big bill coming your side, or there's some things that we take for granted, as you were saying, in Europe. And I feel like maybe sometimes we don't value Europe as much as I guess we should, because I think Europe is I think in my take, right, I would rather live in Europe than America. That's just my...
I agree with you.
I think with some of the stuff that we're seeing in the US at the minute, definitely.
Yeah.
No, and I get what you're saying in terms of when you were younger, some of the media that you saw, the American dream and stuff, entertainment industries, blah, blah, blah. But when you get older, you realize that there's different things that you prioritize. 100%. You prioritize your family's health. You prioritize safety. You prioritize social rights, which is kind of like your rights around employment and stuff like that. And being able to make sure that you've got 2 days off a week, that you have extended breaks. You've got break periods that you're able to take, from
annual leave as well.
Yeah, annual leave.
So before you entered into the EU, did you understand or value Europe as a whole?
No, not really. I was the same. It was something that was far away. It was something that you saw an election every few years, and you didn't really fully understand it. You didn't know how it works. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not the same as you're voting for a party here, but they go into a different party in the EU with other kind of countries similar parties from different countries and stuff like that. So you've got parties in Europe like the left, the EPP, different parties like that, Democrats and Socialist Party, and they don't exist in that format here, you'd be like, what? When someone's trying to explain it to you, you're like, what is going on, I'd be shutting down. I'd be like, I don't really understand this and stuff like that. And there's so many different institutions in the EU as well that make it difficult to understand. So I was very hands off with it.
Is there a head of the EU, someone that's...
this is the thing. There's technically four presidents, because there's different institutions that represent different people. So you've got the European Parliament, which represents citizens, and what they do is they essentially vote on laws right?
Okay.
That are being proposed. Now, who are proposing the laws? The laws are being proposed by the European Commission, which is a different body. That's like the executive body for the European Union. They set the laws and put them to the Parliament in order to vote, and then they kind of deliver on what's voted on. Then you've got things like the European Council, which is like the leaders of all the governments who represent the countries.
Okay.
You've got the Council of the European Union, which represents the governments. Do you know what I mean? So you are getting into it. It does. Like, then you've got things like the European Central Bank, the European Court of Auditors. So like there are lots of different institutions there. And what I'd say to anyone who's trying to learn about the EU is just take it bit by bit. Learn about the European Parliament first. That's the one that you would most likely engage with first, because you are an EU citizen. You're entitled to vote if you are an EU citizen, you're entitled to vote in European Parliament elections. You know, and they're the people who are, they're hearing the laws that are being proposed, and they're voting on them or making amendments to them, and they will eventually become laws. Like the majority of laws that come into Ireland are laws that are set in Europe.
In Europe,
you know, and people don't realize.
I actually didn't. I didn't realize that until you just said it. That's crazy.
You know,
Islamism is very powerful.
Yeah,
Like as in, no, as in if they're influencing
It's very powerful.
here,
which
if what is done in like the EU,
affects here, yeah, absolutely.
So
So things like GDPR,
every
Yeah.
like European country.
basically,
yes, every European Union country. So not every
EU,
European country is a
yeah.
member of the EU.
yeah.
It's only
yeah,
26 at the
yeah,
moment.
yeah,
It was 27 with the UK. It's down to 26 now. They're considering expansion and bringing in different countries like Albania and stuff like that. But yeah, like there are other countries. I think there's like 46 or 47 countries in Europe, but not all of them would be in the EU.
So you mentioned Albania. So they're just a stand-alone country. They're not part of any.
So there's the European Union, and then there's like European economic zones. You know, you do have different community groups that people can be part of and stuff like that, where they'd have different kind of travel arrangements or trade arrangements and stuff like that. But you know, mostly it's the kind of 26 countries in the European Union at the moment, and how they're working together to engage with the world, whether that's Asia, Africa, the US, or other continents as well.
Yeah, I wanted to ask. So, what is your understanding of power? And in regards to this, once you start learning about it,
I mean, yeah, when I started learning into it, so I've been able to travel to the European Parliament now a couple of times, to the European Council and stuff, and most recently I went to the European Council meeting in March, right? And my understanding of power completely changed. You know, like, so I was invited to the Council of the European Union, so that was to see how all the different governments engage with one another, but they ended up calling an emergency European Council meeting, which is all of the leaders of the governments were coming together to discuss Ukraine. So I was there, and then all of a sudden, all of these different kind of European leaders started arriving. Macron, Merz from Germany, Zelensky was coming in. These guys have motorcades. Motorcades are going for ages. Do you know what I mean? The whole city is shutting down, helicopters coming in, and like, we weren't even allowed in the same building as them. We had to be in the building next door to look out the window and see them arriving and stuff. And then we got to see different interviews with them and stuff like that. So just how, like, what I saw in Brussels was that there is a lot of power in Europe, and you know, it does concentrate in the EU. It concentrates around kind of Brussels. It concentrates around Strasbourg, and it's really important that we understand these systems and that we understand just how they're affecting our lives, because they are affecting our lives. You know, so yeah, it was a big moment for me seeing that.
Oh wow. Okay, that sounds like Gio is coming.
Yeah, I mean, like it is. We're living in exceptional times.
Yeah.
And like, I think a lot of people kind of go through life, kind of like, oh, that's mad, or oh, that's weird. Like, but it's really important that we understand these things, because we never know how much they can impact our lives or affect us.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, we're seeing the thing. We're seeing and not to get too dark on this or whatever, but we are seeing kind of conflict in Europe at the moment, and we're seeing a lot of discourse around things like rearmament and stuff like that, which is like,
what is rearmament?
Rearmament is kind of
Thank you for
building
asking.
up of.
I was just nodding like I knew.
No, and this is good that you're asking this. Rearmament is the building up of ammunitions to be ready for war if it happens.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean?
So that's
there's
actively happening right now.
yes, there's an 800 billion package that's been put together by the European Commission.
100 billion.
Yes, to make sure.
Can
that-
I say? I know you're gonna finish, but what do the EU know that we don't know at the moment? Are we
What the EU
are we heading somewhere?
I think what they're doing is preparing in case. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've had 2 world wars that have impacted Europe.
True.
You know, there is conflict in Europe at the moment.
So the EU was founded after Second World War, right?
It was, by a man named Robert Schuman, who wanted to build kind of economic prosperity and peace amongst different countries, and like France and Germany would have been countries that were part of that and stuff like that, and Italy and stuff. And and it's expanded since, and it's a really good thing. You know, because we're not on our own. It's important not to be on your own in the world,
especially the islands.
Yeah, and just going back to I mean, well, like, look, I can come to Ireland in a moment, but you know, we are in times where people feel like they need to be ready to defend themselves in case something happens.
Because it is crazy out there.
Because they're like building new nuclear weapons and stuff. Like, I know China, they're going crazy now.
I wouldn't be as well versed on kind of like nuclear and stuff like that. But what I do know is that, you know, we have conflict at the moment. Countries are saying, right, we need to prepare in case it comes to our shores or it comes to our doors.
You need to defend yourself.
And
Ireland is
a neutral country, and that's why there's a lot of discourse happening around that at the moment. What's important is that we have dialogue and we understand what's happening in Ireland, so we're able to contribute fully to the kind of discourse. My personal position is that Ireland remains a neutral country, that conflict is never a way forward. But it's also, like, I recognise Ireland's position in being a peacekeeper and being a country that has always kind of contributed to peace in the world. And I think it's important that we continue to do that. But anywho, rearmament, that's a whole thing that's happening in the European Union at the moment. Yeah. But I still think that the European Union can be a catalyst for change in terms of peace too. I think that the leaders coming together to find ways that they can kind of discourage people who are engaging in conflict and set laws that protect people is a good thing. And that's why I think positive change can come from our leaders working together to make sure that everyone feels included, connected and safe too.
I was going to ask, I think it's really cool that you're obviously interested in the EU as a whole. But like, in the process of kind of getting into it, is there something that surprised you about how the EU works? Did you kind of find out something else? Like, oh well.
Yeah, I learned about just how many layers there are to it and how many different working parts there are to it. I was surprised to find out just how many people are interested from other countries as well. So when I'm going to visit the European Parliament, I'm meeting up with other people who are doing similar types of work. So I think initially I was actually invited to the first meeting, I was invited to a meeting by a group called the European Council for Refugees and Exiles, based on the work that was being done by Black and Irish. You know, they reached out and they were like, would someone like to come over for a workshop and just kind of see some of the stuff that we're doing? So I was like, yeah, cool. So I went over to Brussels, met with these incredible people. Like, I got to meet a guy called Omar Al-Shogra, who's from Syria, but now living in Scandinavia somewhere. I can't remember exactly where. Sweden, I think it is. And he's like a member of the Syrian Emergency Task Force. Do you know what I mean? Who's doing incredible work, but he's based in the EU and he's doing work to kind of make sure that the EU is interested, and the world actually, is interested in Syria, you know. So you've got like all of these different structures, which are difficult to wrap your head around. But if you take your time, you will learn about them and stuff like that, you know, and you'll get to see the incredible history that's there and stuff like that. But engaging with it means that you get to meet some really interesting and cool people too, you know. And that for me was like, at that first meeting of ECRA, it was really cool. And while I was at that meeting, we bumped into someone from the Directorate for General Communications in the European Parliament, and they were like, oh, like, look, we're hosting an event next month, we'd love to have you back, in terms of inviting people who are interested in like democracy and politics and stuff like that to spread awareness of the EU. So I got to go back then, meet more people, but kind of outside of the realm of just kind of race, ethnicity, migration and stuff like that, interested in other areas like you know, women's rights, disability rights, incredible things like that, you know. So yeah, I mean, those are the things that surprise me.
Sweet. In terms of like the EU, like, okay, I'm in Ireland. I've come from Africa. That's my family's come from Africa.
Yeah.
You know,
you sound like an American saying Africa, bro. You're Nigerian, bro. Specify it.
Africa.
I'm from for where he said. But no, just even like who is the EU for? Like I know I live here, but does it? You know, am I as included in the EU, if that makes sense?
Yeah, so you are of course included in the conversation, you know, but are you part of the conversation is the question. And oftentimes the EU is great for people who understand it, who are engaging with it, who are going there, you know, who are doing things adjacent to the EU and get to, whether it's being Strasbourg or Brussels or whatever it is. You don't even necessarily need to travel there. You can be working in EU offices in your own country. Like we have an EU, like we have EU setups here, you know, which are important. But people who are outside it or who don't necessarily understand it, or yet people from kind of like racialized backgrounds, people who may find it difficult to engage with the EU, whether it's because they have a disability or they're coming from, you know, a working class background. So the majority of their time is focused on, you know, putting food on their table to make sure that their kids can eat and stuff like that. You know, it can be difficult for people like that to engage with the EU and to understand everything that's going on, because there's like so much going on at one time.
Definitely,
Yeah, you know,
and
so
I
it can
think
be
it's-
difficult to be fully engaged all the time, you know. So it's definitely easier to access it for people who are in and who are in the know.
yeah.
But what's important is that we broaden that out and we make sure that different people get to hear about the EU, get to understand it, get to go there and get to learn about it.
So the real benefit is being in the know, like being part of the conversation rather than, like, again by proxy, most of us are just in the EU because we live in Ireland. But then
I think
you think we benefit more when we engage.
the conversation is going to be had, right?
Yeah.
About the world and how the world is shaped and stuff like that. And you're going to be part of that. You're going to be in that, right? But are you going to be involved in the conversation? As in, like, are you going to be contributing to it? Are you going to be speaking? Or are you just going to be listening? Or are you just going to be like outside the room eavesdropping? That's what people need to ask themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Obviously, that's a metaphor for, like, you know, you can not care about what's happening, but it's going to impact you.
It affects you,
It's going to affect you, you know. So it's important that we give people, like, it's not enough to just go, you know, you should learn, you should do better. Like, that's not what the EU is about. The EU recognizes that it has a role in making sure that everyone gets to understand it, everyone has the tools, that people have the opportunity to ask questions. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've got a platform. It's important that, you know, people who listen to your platform get to hear about the EU and stuff like that, and what it's doing and how it is shaping their lives, because it is.
If I'm a random dude from Tyler, how do I get involved? Like, again, I think some of those things are seen as like barriers. Like, it's like, oh, that's for those type of people. They're up there.
Yeah, of course.
A normal dude from Tyler or from Clondalkin or wherever it is, how does he understand? Yes, that this impacts my life, you know, but how do I get involved in this conversation?
Sure. Well, I think, right, so there's two things that I want to do now based on that question. The first thing is I'm going to try and organise a trip to Brussels for people who listen to your platform. Okay. So the EU does outreach programs where people are able to apply and get funding to travel there. Do you get me? So I think what would be cool is if we're able to pull together some of your listenership and bring them to Brussels and see, you know, what it's about and see what life is
Including us
like.
as well, yeah?
Of course.
Oh, right.
Do you know what I mean?
Let me tell the wife.
You know, but then,
Pack your bags or go to
do you know what I mean? Then I'd love to do one for Black and Irish as well, and make sure, like, you know, so we can see if we can organise, you know, a couple of different trips. But if you're not going on a trip yet, or you want to learn more, I think just, you know, starting off with the social media accounts like EU Ireland, like engaging with the EU Ireland office here. Yeah. There's incredible institutions here in Ireland, not even institutions, just organisations like EU Ireland, you know, the European Commission based here in Ireland, or the European Parliament team based here in Ireland, who run great initiatives. They're based on Mount Street. And they're always willing to engage with people. They're always willing to have conversations about the EU. They're always running great programs. They work with great kind of ambassadors and outreach programs. But a lot of times, I think these organizations don't necessarily know how to go and find people and kind of talk about what they do and spread the word of what they do. So I think definitely following EU Ireland, you know, on social media accounts is a good start. And then reaching out to people who do know. Do you know what I mean? So if anyone wants to have a conversation with me about the EU, I'm always more than happy to. No matter what time, they send the message out, or you know, if they want me to meet with like a group of people to get to understand the EU, I'm more than happy to do that whenever, you know. But I think it'd be really cool to organize a trip with people who don't necessarily know about the EU just yet.
I think that's something that would be really interesting to just learn.
To learn, yeah.
Okay.
You just want to travel to Belgium, is it? Like you just want to
Part of me.
Let's go Luxembourg. I've been to Brussels already.
Oh, okay. Have you been to Brussels before?
I actually haven't been to Brussels before.
It's a really cool spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, aside from the politics that's happening there, like it's really cool.
It's cool. I definitely want to go. Okay, so there's 5 black men in this room, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of. So how would you say that Europe has showed up in our lives specifically with that context in mind, or how could it show up in our lives? Do you get me?
Yeah. So I mean, again, there's a lot of benefits that we get from the EU without us like kind of like sitting down and paying attention. Like we have great mobility around Europe. We have great rights and stuff like that. We do have protections to a certain extent. Now I know the conversation in Europe at the moment is a bit challenging around kind of racism and stuff like that. And that is another thing, you know. Like when I'm traveling to Europe and stuff like that, like I'm meeting a couple of other people who are black and Italian or black and French or black and Belgian and stuff like that, and we're having a lot of the same issues. Do you know what I mean? We have to kind of consistently reassert ourselves as Europeans.
Yeah.
Like we are European, do you know what I mean? Like whether we want to, like, but we can be all of those things at the same time. We can be Nigerian and European. Nigerian and Irish. Senegalese and Irish and European and African. Like you can be, there's nothing
definitely
that
African. Definitely.
do you know what I mean? You were late. But there's you know, so yeah, there are some challenges in that. I do think that there is a need for us to kind of constantly reassert ourselves. And there's a really, really great book called Afropean by a guy called Johnny Pitts. He's from the UK.
Afropean.
And he talks about, like, it's really important that we establish ourselves and our identity as black Europeans. Because if we don't get it right, do you know what I mean? Like, we're not the first people, we're not the first black people in Europe, of course. But we have an opportunity now with, like, the rise of social media, with, like, the greatest level of mobility that we've ever had in the world. We have the ability now to kind of shape identities and shape ourselves as who we want to be and how we want to represent and what we're willing to put up with as well. Because just because we're black in Europe doesn't mean that we have to put up with shit. Or put up with racism or put up with crap. It's important that we're, you know, fighting good fights for people who are going to come after us. Do you know what I mean? Whether they move here or whether, you know, they're born here, it's important that we're making life better for them too, as well as ourselves.
And I think there's another kind of perspective I have on that I think makes that really important. For a lot of us, we're too European to be Nigerian, right? But then, like, we're too Nigerian to be European.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, look, this is where I am, this is where I live. It's important to actually just establish yourself here and be like, look,
this is it.
This is I've decided to call this, well, I didn't decide to call it home, but I'm deciding, I guess now.
Yeah.
It has to be home. Let me kind of work on building an environment or community around myself that, look, this is it.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's funny, you're like, I remember when and you might get this as well, when I went to Senegal for the first time, I was a European.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I was a European. They were like, prices are 500%. Do you know what I mean? Even I got to meet my dad's older brother, and he basically told our interpreter that it doesn't matter if you're black like me or white like him. Points at me. You know what I mean? That we accept them. Yeah, they saw me as a white European. I was not black to them. Do you know what I mean? Like, my skin tone might be a darker complexion, but to them I was white European. Do you know what I mean? So it's funny when we don't choose this life. We don't choose these skin colors that we have or whatever. But we still need to live with it. Do you know what I mean? Like in a way that we're going to face challenges here, but we're also going to face challenges there too. Do you know what I mean? And it's important that we're now finding a space for ourselves. Do you know what I mean? I know there's slight differences in that, you know, between being mixed race, you know, being born to two migrant parents and stuff like that. But we all have the challenge of finding our identity.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we're doing that's happening right now. So I think it's important that we establish ourselves as Black Europeans.
What potential do you think the EU has?
I mean, the potential is huge. The potential I think the EU has potential to change the world. Now, to be honest, I also I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for saying this. I think Africa is going to save the world, but I think the EU has the chance to change the world for the better. So I'll explain that a little bit more. The EU has a lot of power at the moment, has a lot of really strong countries that are able to influence the levels of conflict, the way trade is going. They have the means to be able to be innovative and creative and create things very quickly. But when I think about the continent of Africa as well, I think about the population levels, what those populations will be able to achieve. Do you know what I mean? I think of Nigeria, it's 240 million people at the minute. There's going to be 400 million by 2050.
Documented. That's
that we know of.
Yeah, 400 million by 2050. Like, these are going to be huge players in the world that are going to be able to contribute so much to ensuring that the rest of the world is stabilized. And also, I think the innovation and creativity that's going to come out of the likes of Nigeria and other African countries with high levels of population, with the likes of things like AI coming in and leveling the playing field. Africa as a continent contributes to 4% of the global climate change. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like 1.5 billion people across the continent. Do you know what I mean? 4% of the carbon emissions. So,
Wow.
things are being done there in order to be carbon neutral, to, not affect the world in a negative way. And like some of the stuff that I see coming out of like the likes of Kenya and stuff like that, where like trash that was ending up on their door. Like, there's a wonderful woman called Jovia Chisachi is her name, and she's using a lot of the kind of pollution that's ending up on her doorstep and turning that into fertilizer. Do you know what I mean? That's now growing plants.
Wow.
It's incredible stuff. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I think because the continent of Africa, unfortunately, is being pushed into a corner with things like climate change, conflict, that's when you're going to see the best of humanity come out and see creativity, innovation, new ways to challenge things. You're seeing leaders coming out of Africa now, like Captain Traore from Burkina Faso. That guy does not.
He's not playing around.
Do you know what I mean? So this is what I mean. Like, I think Europe is in a great position to change the world and be that catalyst for change that the world needs, but it also needs to support growing continents like Asia and like Africa in order to join the fight for essentially for humanity. When you deep it, when you think of climate change, AI, conflict, these things are threats, and they're starting to converge. They're all starting to impact one another, and I didn't mean for this podcast to get like this.
No, it's grand. You're fine.
But we need to recognize that we're facing huge challenges and that we need everyone to be able to contribute. And we don't necessarily have a great player working with us in terms of the US anymore. Like, they don't necessarily want to play ball. They want to pull out of climate accords. They don't care. They don't care if there's conflicts, but like,
I think they probably have their own agendas to run.
They have an agenda, and they're playing it. But I think the EU is in a strong position to create positive change.
Yeah.
That's do you feel like America will jump back in the game if your man heads off when he finishes?
I don't know. Like, so what's important is that we don't.
Answer your man.
It took me a second. I was like, "Who are you talking about?"
This is a really tough question, because one thing that Europe is great at is ensuring democracy, and I'm not 100% sure that democracy is going to last as long as it can in America.
Oh,
with Trump is saying Trump 2028. He's dead serious.
Is he allowed?
I mean, no, of course not.
So
he gonna make it happen.
He sent the
It's
governor.
only 2 terms, no?
He sent the governor of California a hat that said Trump 2028, because he knows that the governor of California is probably going to be the Democratic candidate for the US president. So it is crazy. We're starting to see things like massive human rights violations, ICE and stuff like that in the US.
It's insane.
It is.
Going on
And it's very scary. Do you know what I mean? Because you've got this fella who's at the kind of he's at the pinnacle of the world at the moment, and he's like. He's just deranged. In my
what
opinion.
he was saying about the Somalian,
that was horrendous. I was watching that live. That was just he is very racist, and he doesn't care about what he's saying. Somalia is these horrible
Third world
names. He's
countries,
calling
yeah.
people from Somalia horrible names. I don't know if you saw the thing that he said about Rob Reiner. Rob Reiner he's the dad in The Wolf of Wall Street.
Okay.
He unfortunately was murdered by his son.
Okay. Yes.
A couple of days ago.
Yes. Yeah.
Trump comes out with a statement being like, Rob Reiner suffered with Trump derangement syndrome, and you know his views gotten killed is what he's like
Wow.
alluding to. You know, in my opinion,
I actually don't. I actually don't. The thing is,
I'm a.
like the thing that bothers me about like those people in power is they're actually just galvanizing a big portion of the population due to obviously the people's ignorance and getting them to play part of things that aren't good. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
yeah, I hear it.
And it really, I think that's partially what's happening in Ireland as well with immigration. Partially.
Yeah, I think the world is distracted.
Yeah.
We're busy looking at our phones, or we're looking at kind of like, this is why like things like entertainment and football, like I think they're great to be aware of and to take part in and stuff like that. Like they can bring us so much joy and stuff like that. But at the same time, we need to be conscious of what is happening in the world,
Exactly,
because
yeah.
it will one day it could land at your door and you're like, oh God,
I
what have I done?
coming,
Like
yeah,
why
yeah,
I
yeah.
should have paid attention to this a little bit sooner, you know? So
Well, and why, like, so I understand, like, we all need to sort of get into the know and understand these things, but like, till obviously this is what we're doing now is bringing forward awareness and stuff like that. But beforehand, what would you have said would have been the biggest disconnector, especially for young people, and stuff to do with the EU or like Trump? One thing I think about when I think of like politics, you see someone like Trump,
Yeah.
and today it's about personalities, right?
Yeah.
Like the reason he is super popular, he says crazy stuff, he does all, but like it's more of a personality there, where with the EU might just be like, oh, we've heard of that, but it's like we don't know who's
you don't know who's the president. So
Yeah.
it's Roberta Metsola is the president of the European Parliament.
Yeah.
You then have Ursula von der Leyen, who's the president of the European Commission. You've got Antonio Costa, who's the president of the European Council, and Ireland is going to be president of the Council of the European Union next year. You know, so countries can be president for a 6-month term as well for one of the institutions within, within the EU. So, you know, yeah, I get that. People, I think, can be disconnected because there's other more kind of dopamine triggering things closer to them. They pick up their phone and they can learn about someone's life immediately.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They can, and I get that. Like Trump has presented as this, you know,
Entertainer.
persona, and
He's
he
an
is
entertainer,
like
yeah.
that. He was a reality TV star. We
Yeah.
need to remember this.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like he's not.
How he made it to the
He's
presidency.
not a spring chicken.
It's
Like, do you know what I mean?
crazy.
Apparently, it was a ploy because he heard that like Katy Perry was getting paid more than him or something, in the kind of TV network that they were working in. So he goes, "All right, boom, I'm going to run for president," and he turns up to this rally one day and there's tons of people there, and he's like, "Oh, okay,
I guess
this is
I'm good
actually
to do it.
this could be a thing," you know. And then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, I'm like
That's mad.
I'm like
How they got
the most
him,
important person in the world.
That's mad.
Twice.
Maybe a third time.
Like you might not ever have a chance again to get him out.
Do you know what though? I think like when I see that kind of thing, I'm just like, okay, on the one hand, there's this Trump, but on the other hand, there's 50% of the population
Yeah.
that
That's
looked
the
at
right
him and said,
Yeah.
"I want him to lead me."
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you know what I'm trying to say? Like that also worries me because I'm just like,
I don't even think it's all of them even said that they want him. I just don't think they even loved the other candidates. so
True,
much. They're
true,
like, Joe,
dude.
we'll just do with this.
I think the Democrats didn't do themselves justice.
Yeah.
I agree.
Like Joe Biden
Yeah.
should have stepped aside and allowed someone else
Yeah.
to go. He did his job.
Yeah.
Now again, all of this is just my opinion,
Speculation,
but
yeah.
you know, he didn't give anyone else an opportunity.
Yeah.
His job was just get Trump out, and he
Yeah.
did that.
Yeah.
Do your 4-year term, he probably would have went down as one of the better presidents in
Yeah.
in US history. But then, you know, it's just greed. He's
Yeah.
like, you know, I'm gonna go again.
Yeah.
He's-
They're really Nigerians, aren't they?
I mean, like he's at the point where you know, unfortunately,
politics.
Okay,
unfortunately, he's quite unwell at the minute. Like, so he would have been unwell during this term. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's quite an elderly man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's in his 80s. It's Joe Biden. Like, do you know what I mean?
we seen him in Mayo, innit?
we went there with you guys.
You did.
Mayo.
Do you remember?
Yeah,
My
yeah,
God,
I was
yeah,
reading
yeah. This is back in.
the teleprompter and he was moving a bit.
Do you remember that? Do you remember that? That was mad.
He was-
we actually went to see Joe Biden. Before.
We did.
Now this in April 23, obviously before all of the stuff happened with
Yeah.
Gaza and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we obviously thought, right, This fella, he got Trump out. So at the time, he was good. I think everyone saw him as a positive force. You know, in the world, and you know he's rerunning. But then, obviously, things like the conflict in the genocide in Gaza happens, and you know America playing kind of party to that, and then him beginning to have like really bad gaffes. Do you know what I mean? You know, when he's speaking and he's saying the wrong thing. You know, it's shown that he's all right. There might be a bit of cognitive decline there and stuff like that. We're seeing that with Trump now as well.
Definitely.
He's slowing down, right?
He's falling asleep. I don't know.
I remember
he fell asleep in a cabinet meeting.
But there was a cabinet meeting. He just fell asleep. Like fellows
Just
just
fell asleep. Just
passed out.
Maybe he's bored.
But a lot of people don't like. A lot of people don't see that because their algorithms are feeding him bashing Somalia or him saying something crazy about kind of Trump derangement syndrome or whatever it is.
And I also think he probably has a world-class PR team.
Of course.
I mean, they just spin everything.
Yeah, like
have you seen
shaping stuff up.
Yeah, have you seen his press? I don't know. His press secretary, I think, is the role. Her name is Caroline Levitt, and spins absolutely
everything.
Anything that's put. You know, it's just Trump. Trump has never done anything wrong ever. Do you know what I mean? Like it's wild, and I think we do need to be careful. Like democracy is under threat. Do you know what I mean? And it's important that everyone is playing their part in democracy. And if young people don't feel represented by the system, what's important is that they get out and use their vote. And your vote is your voice. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's a real positive thing about the European Union is that we at the moment we've got 51% of European citizens voting in European Parliament elections.
Should be a lot more.
It needs to be a lot more though. Do you know what I mean? Like if it was like 10 or 20%, I'd be like,
What would be the percentage for young people? Like, would you know?
Yeah, I think that only went up by 1 percentage point. I will get the figure, and maybe you can share it in the description or whatever. But it didn't go up by much. Is the issue?
So it needs to go up by much.
It does absolutely. I think.
like even
Sorry, go on.
But if 49% of people aren't voting,
Yeah.
that's a lot of movement that could happen that isn't happening. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And just even think of 49% of European people are being impacted by things that one they're not aware of, but is affecting their life is insane.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you get me?
Absolutely.
It's completely insane. Like
Yeah.
There's a point in time where I don't know, you can't lean on ignorance anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Like, I get that people may have different interests and stuff like that. And for me, I've got many different interests.
Yeah.
I love chess, I love gaming, I love soccer, I love mixed martial arts. You know, and I try and say interest in all those things.
You don't love soccer. If you
I
call
don't
it
love
soccer.
I call it soccer.
Why are you calling it soccer?
Yeah, you don't
What's
love it.
going on?
You don't love it. You don't call it football.
I love Gaelic football. I love soccer. Actually, I love hurling now as well. 'Cause my in-laws are big hurling fans. And they're from Tipperary as well, and they just won the All Ireland. So, but I find time to make sure that I'm at least aware of
what's going on.
What's happening. Who are like the members of my local area in terms of who are my councillors, who are my TDs, who is in government, who is our Taoiseach, who is our Taoiseach, that type of stuff. And like a lot of young people in Ireland might not be able to name them, but fortunately we have like the internet. I'm not saying just Google it, but like you can Google it if you want to, if you want to find out. But if you want to speak to someone about it, you can reach out to me, you can reach out to Black and Irish, you can reach out to various politicians in your area. They are more than happy to talk you through it, because it's important that absolutely everyone takes part
in this. I have a last question. It's in regards to like a single person. Like it's not. I don't mean a single person. As in, if one person goes and gets involved, there is a tendency to think within itself like, what is my singular involvement or opinion going to change or going to do to change the wider thing. So what is the importance of us all sort of moving together as young people, like, or us having this one mind in
Well, I think there's a couple of different answers to this. The first thing is it's the best way to influence change in your life. If you're interested in something, you want to see something change in whatever direction, even like regardless of your political view. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell people they need to vote a certain way, I need to vote this way, I need to vote that way. What's important is that they're using their voice and that they're using their vote and making sure that they are contributing to the conversation, because at the end of the day, your life can change, and if you didn't vote, you can't necessarily be like, oh well, I wish you didn't, because you weren't part of the conversation. There's some people that lose out on elections by 2-3 votes. Do you know what I mean? And people think, oh well, it's not, it's not. I don't have a say in this. You do. Every single vote counts. Do you know what I mean? Every single vote matters. Wow. And then the next thing is, and this is maybe where I will say that people need to be aware of the challenges. It's important that we represent people who have our best interests at heart. Do you know what I mean? And we may feel disconnected from people who don't have our best interests, and they're the ones that are going to get elected and set our housing policies, set our migration policies, set your working life, how much taxes you have to pay and stuff like that. So what's important is that you're learning about the different parties, what they stand for, and then aligning yourself to them and saying, right, I'm going to vote for them. I'm going to go out and I'm going to vote. Last thing is just the world is facing some significant challenges, and there are people that they don't care if those challenges continue. There are people who are profiting off of those challenges. Things like housing, things like conflict, things like climate change, and we need to use our voice to make sure that we still have a world to fight for.
And just even after
it's
that,
important to vote.
Yeah, I think people are even profiting off the mass ignorance
Big
of
time.
people.
Yeah.
Just you not being involved, not caring, not knowing about it. Someone is making money off that, or benefiting from that as well, which is really scary.
It is.
It's really, really, really scary.
For sure. But look, I think we have an opportunity. We have a chance for a change.
For sure.
And that's why I want to come on your podcast. I think you've got an incredible platform. I want to talk to people who listen to you, who might not know about the EU, and let them know that if you take anything from this episode, if you are unsure, reach out and ask. And people will be more than happy to chat to you about the EU or politics or anything like that. Any questions you may have.
Man, appreciate you, man. It's been a insightful. Do you guys have any more questions? I think it's been very insightful. I think one thing that's definite, definitely a thing for me is that, okay, cool. Like, I feel like I've been quite ignorant myself of what's going on, and not knowing how much some of these things.
I think people calling themselves ignorant is being harsh on yourself. To be honest, I think no one has ever turned around to you and gone, right, let me talk to you about this. Let me explain this to you.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
true.
And at the same time, do you know what I mean? Like, these are systems that are so far removed from us. At the end of the day, Ireland is the furthest most away from this. Do you know what I mean? Like, we need to, like, other people are traveling to the things that I'm going to. They're traveling by car. They're traveling by train. Do you know what I mean? I'm having to fly there. Do you get me? So, I think people calling themselves ignorant is hard, and being hard on themselves, and that can actually sometimes cause you to go, I'm too far away. There's too much for me to learn. People are here to help you. Is the main thing.
Do you know why actually specifically I said I was ignorant? Because
I chose it.
I know. I actually work in my field, so the EU funds a lot of what we do.
Okay, great.
So and I work with young disadvantaged children. So
amazing.
So that's why I mean, maybe a bit more ignorant than
So they tell you at work. you went through training.
When you walk in to the building, you see that the EU is funding this.
Yeah. So I guess maybe on my side, I can speak for myself, but no, it is good to know that it's obviously beyond just that, and it affects young people and all people, anyone in Europe as well. So, no, thank you. How's Black and Irish going, actually, by the way?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's taken a bit of a step back in terms of my personal life this year. I got married, I got a house.
Bro.
I've had loads of different family stuff going on, so I've just been like a lot of, you might have seen, we didn't run the awards this year. We didn't do as big of a Black History Month this year. We've had a couple of different changeovers in the team and stuff like that. But I'm gearing up for a huge 2026. I'm really, really excited for it. Yeah. So the awards will be coming back. They'll be going to the Dublin Convention Centre, which is
sick.
FSC.
Yeah, the big one with the rings. Yeah.
That's mad.
Yeah,
So
that's where we graduated, didn't it?
Yeah, that's where we graduated. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So exactly, what we're
That's a big venue.
There are times where organisations go through flux like this. Do you know what I mean? Where they'll have up years, they'll have down years. I think the awards that we ran in 2024 were definitely our biggest by a mile.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That was the RTE ones. We weren't part of it.
We weren't, I don't think we were nominated or anything like that.
I mean, you've got You've got more trophies than anybody else. Do you
I know,
get me?
which is true.
Other than-
It's-
other-
it's-
other than
We should have had more,
Do you know what I
bro.
mean?
Like, it's all right.
yeah. Listen, we're not gonna talk about the awards. Well, no, I think that's
it.
amazing. That's big.
So look, you know, but like other things are happening. Like we recognize, like the awards are just one part of what we do. We're massively scaling up the amount of young people that we're speaking to, the amount of skills that we're in. You know, the workshops that we're delivering for building inclusive schools, inclusive companies, inclusive communities. We're doing a lot around kind of education on like anti-migrant rhetoric. The rise of the far right. You know, these are all things that we're challenging continuously,
That's
like
really-
regardless of wherever we are.
that's really
but we'll be
helpful.
bringing that to the public, you know, next year.
That's
Cool,
very,
bro.
very helpful, especially the anti. I feel like there's an energy in this city.
100%.
Yeah, I think
it's big.
I think
There's an
everywhere in Ireland at the minute there's a tenseness.
Yeah, there's a ten.
I
there's
get
a
you.
tension.
Yeah. And in the city, like, you know, where there's like concentrations of people, you're gonna definitely see that too. But
That's why I throw on an extra thick accent when I'm outside. No bothers.
yeah. You're not even talking to anybody. You're just walking down the
Your skin is
road.
still on show, though.
I know, but I know, like,
You can still get it.
They differentiate me just a little bit, like.
They do.
He's
It is.
alright,
You know,
he's
it's a real
alright.
thing.
It
Do you
is.
know what I mean? Like,
No
accent
bothers.
is a hit.
I've
Yeah.
been here for 20 plus years.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
do you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, so
And it's just groups of strangers, like, we didn't ask you. Like,
You just wanted to know
well,
the
no,
time.
I mean that's it's funny that like sorry, it's not that it's funny that it's saying that, but like it shows that we have like we're finding ourselves having to like prove ourselves. We don't
Yeah.
have to do
Yeah,
that. We should
no,
just be
yeah,
able to
yeah.
live our lives. Do you know what I mean? Like we're not we don't need to prove ourselves to anybody. And what's important is that we recognize that there are things called far right agitators who are people who want to use racist rhetoric to bring people over to their train of thought and
100%.
indoctrinate them in. And they're using things like people fearing about their job, about their future, how they're going to put food on the table, how they're going to get a house and stuff like that, to try and get them, you know, to be racist rather than saying, why do we have these things happen?
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's what I was saying before. Like, I think that's the ignorance of people being kind of manipulated. Do you get me? Like,
Right.
the immigration is an issue. Fair enough. It's not the cause of all your issues.
No, no, absolutely.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
yeah, and this is the thing, right? Immigration is doing a lot of heavy lifting there because that is a word that describes many different people.
Yeah.
Asylum seekers, refugees, economic migrants, international students, people here on holidays. Do you know what I mean? Lots of people are immigrants. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
When we say people are saying we have an immigrant problem, we don't have an immigrant problem. We have an influx of asylum seekers, and we don't have the capacity to meet them yet. If we had an immigrant problem, and we asked every economic migrant to go home, our HSE would collapse overnight.
Yes.
Overnight, our health system would be crippled overnight. You know, so we need to remember that when we're talking about immigration, there's huge fields of people that we're talking about, and we need to begin to add more nuance to the conversation.
Definitely, man.
Do you think generally that the information about these things is intentionally complicated? Or are these matters complicated? I do believe that the matters are complicated, but I think
matters are complicated. Yeah. I think it's like it's a complex situation. Like we've got
true, that's-
people needing to travel here because they're fleeing persecution, war, torture, famine, whatever it is, and it's assist. We need to bring those people in. We need to find out to what extent are they facing difficulties in their home country, because there are some people that may come here that may not be entitled to asylum, and like they may know that, they may not know that. For whatever reason, what's important is that we're processing asylum applications
properly,
quickly, properly, fairly, and if people have a right to say that, we're finding ways to integrate them into the society, and if they aren't entitled to say that, we're managing that too, you know. So yeah, I mean, like that's it put plainly, but other people are using that to say, well, you know, you've got all of these really bad people coming into the country, and all of these bad things are going to happen, you know, and any incident where a bad thing happens with any migrant at all inflames. You've got protests and stuff like that. You've got huge things. There was when I was living in the IFSC, there was a woman that was killed by a white Irish man. You might remember that. Yeah,
she was a cleaner.
Asian woman.
I remember.
And there was no protest for that. There was no riots. There was no
one said anything
nothing.
about it,
No one said anything about it. Do you know what I mean? And like it was like I'm bringing it up because they were appealing their sentence in the courts the other day, and I'm like, You killed someone. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Appealing.
Yeah, they were appealing their sentencing, and I just, it's just horrendous. Do you know what I mean?
Man.
Like in terms of, you do something wrong, but you've got black or brown skin, and it's like everyone is tarred with the same brush.
Yeah.
But then you've got other people who are doing stuff wrong, and it's like people aren't even batting an eye.
Yeah.
You know, so these are.
That's crazy.
We need to ask ourselves, why is that happening?
Yeah.
You know,
even like when something like that, when you hear something's gone, like has happened, maybe someone's been assaulted, something's happened. I'm literally nowadays just praying, like, pray it's not someone of color, because it's like if it is, then boom, there's something. Now, obviously, you don't want anything bad to happen to anybody, but like,
of course,
when it does, when you hear that news, you're like, oh my gosh, is it gonna be another thing?
Yeah.
Is it going to be another riot? Are Lewis is going to be burned again?
Yeah.
Are we going to you know, be targets or feel like targets again
And
for
there's
another few
awkward conversations all the time, man.
I know, and like we're coming up to,
horrible what's happening, you know, to the migrants. And it's like, oh man, it's like just
you know, and I get like, look, I think there's a lot of people in Ireland who are falling into different camps. You've got people who are racist and are now engaging in racist behaviour. They're openly racist because they're emboldened by different racist things that they're seeing.
Yeah.
And they might just hold racist ideologies. And then you've got anti-racist people who are like doing work to make sure that people recognise it's important that we live in a society where everyone feels safe and connected. Not just these people over here, but everybody.
Everybody, yeah.
You know, and then the majority of people in Ireland, I feel, are just in the middle where they're non-racist. They don't they don't necessarily engage in racism. They might engage in it unconsciously every now and again, where they pick a white person over a black person for a job just because they can pronounce their name.
flip, man.
But they don't think about racism on a day-to-day basis. And what's happening now is both ends of that spectrum are trying to pull as many people over
To one
to
side, to an
over to their
extreme
side.
side. Yeah.
So that's that's why it's important that people are getting engaged.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And
The
I
more
think-
voices that we have in anti-racism, the better.
And I think that's why when economic issues are happening, people are losing their jobs left and center. It's easy for them to be like, see, you're jobless? Yeah, it's because of the migrants. Come over to
there.
this side.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That switch is so easy in that position, and then it's just spewing a few stats that sound good, you know, and then
I think a lot of problems that we have in this country are not left and right problems. They're up and down problems.
Yes.
And we need people to recognize that quickly, that the person around the corner from you who is brown and working in the HSE is not the
Your
biggest
issue.
challenge to you living your life safely and being able to put food on your table. It's the person that's making your life really difficult by upping prices on energy or upping prices on food, or you know,
the cost of housing
drip
as well.
feeding a housing market to make sure that no one is able to buy a house. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, it causes a lot of challenges. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know there's a lot of young people around my age, like when I was going for a house, you know, who are now starting to feel very bitter. Do you know what I mean? And they're not feeling bitter towards the people that they should feel bitter towards. They're feeling bitter towards other people who are also going for a house, who are in the exact same situation as them.
Yeah, man.
You know?
Yeah, man.
So,
it's like, how can you blame me for the problem I'm in with you?
yeah, I'm here with you.
what's
We're at the
struggling
same
together,
viewing.
bro?
Like,
But this is the problem when I
Same
was going for the
viewing.
house.
Flip,
When I was going for, viewings, man. You're going, and oftentimes,
You went through. I remember that season in
Yeah.
your life, man.
No, I know it would.
stop. Yeah.
Some people like line up the night before.
Nah, that was crazy. No, I haven't experienced that now.
what?
I've heard
What? Yeah,
like
that's
line up
wild.
and like
And the house was
it's
going for 1.7, was it?
no, this like someone like wanted to buy a house,
Okay.
so they line
Yeah.
up like not. When I say night before, I don't mean night before, but like hours.
They're going
before,
early. Yeah,
like
they're even
hours,
viewing. The viewing
and
might be at
like-
1 o'clock. They're there at 8
And they have
a.m.
like
they're
a
standing there.
WhatsApp group chat where they text that let's
Yeah.
go to this, and then it's a whole line of people that like.
Yeah, because a
Why?
lot of
Like,
the
what are
time,
the chances?
for those new builds, it is first come first served. Like if you're in, you can walk in the door and go, I don't care what you have, I'm ready to buy.
Yeah.
I have savings,
Down
I have
payment.
mortgage approval. Give me a house, put me down. Let's go. Let's start this.
Yeah,
I'll pay the deposit today. Do you know what I mean? That's what that's the position that some people are in. You know, and it's difficult to compete. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, when I was going, I'd go to a viewing. Yeah, there'd be 50 other couples there.
God.
I'd go to the next viewing, and all of us drove there together. I'm seeing the same people. I was making friends. Do you know what I mean? Like we were chatting to each other, like, John, what do you think of this? Ah, yeah, no, I won't buy it. Secretly, I'm like, this is our one. No, but like, I'm happy to talk to you, like, get in the house if you want, like, because I want the house in Springfield, which is where my family are, and we went for a house in Alderwood. Do you know where Alderwood is?
Yeah.
It's on the way up to the square, and we basically went into a bidding war on this house. We loved it. We thought it was beautiful, and the estate agent basically came back going, right, boom, we're not doing a bidding anymore. We're not doing a bidding war anymore. We're doing best and final offer, right? So I was like to my wife Kate, I was like, we're gonna go an extra 10,000, right, on what we just bid, and that's 5,000 more than we can afford right now. But I'll find it. Like we'll find a way. Do you know what I mean? And so we put that offer in, and they came back to us on the Friday going, the best and final offer was 60,000 euro above what you had best and final offered. So I was like, yeah, furious. So like my wife was devastated because we loved this house. It was like going to be near my family's house in Springfield. We went to St. Mark's. Do you know what I mean? So basically, right, I was like ringing everybody. I was like, what have you got? What have you got? What have you got? Have you got any viewings? I'll go. I'll take it. And like, blah, blah, blah. Went for a viewing up in Belfry Square in City West. I was like, look, I'll bid on it now. Do you know what I mean? I just wanted a house. I wanted to, like, you know, we were living with Katie's parents. They're lovely people, but we were living under people for 3 years. So it's not nice. And we went into a bidding war, and we felt like we were in a bidding war, like with this, like these anonymous people, like, you know what I mean? We ended up winning that.
We very well could have been anonymous.
Yeah. I mean, anonymous in that, you know, you never know. You know, you know what I mean? Yeah. Could be people who have vested interest in seeing that number go as high as possible. Anyways, we ended up winning that bidding war, right? On a Tuesday, and something felt off. It didn't feel like a house for us. Do you get me? Like it was. We had panicked into something that we'd gotten, so we were happy, and we paid the deposit, so we were like, right, boom, let's go. And then when I was in Senegal, my mom rang me because I was like, I really want to get a house in Senegal. My mom rang me to go, the neighbour 2 doors down from us is emptying a skip. I went down and spoke to them. They said that they're happy to sell the house to you for the same price if you want it. They heard what you were doing, and they're happy for you to buy this. I was like, see God. Yeah. Wow. I swear, no, I'm like, look, I'm a spiritual person, like, do you know what I mean? I put it out into the world. I wanted a house in Springfield. I actually, like, I was like, God, I'd love a house in Springfield. I want to be close to my family. No, I didn't know if it was going to be this close. 2 doors down, yeah. 2 doors down now. But, like, you know, my sister is having kids. Like, I've got lots of young sisters. It's great now that I'm able to be close to them. So we were blessed in that sense. Like, you need to be kind of ready, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, you need to be ready for the accept lessons as well at the same time. I know we're getting into kind of spiritual talk now and stuff like that, but that was my journey, anyways.
60 bags is higher than what you.
Yeah, higher, and we were already over our limit.
How can you compete?
Yeah, you know, that's
as a deposit.
No, as the overall cost of the house.
Oh,
no, not as a deposit. No. As the overall cost.
I thought it was the deposit.
Imagine people that like, if you're able to save that much, like,
but that's still crazy. That
is still crazy.
Equally as crazy, in my opinion.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I walked into a viewing in Virginia Heights, right? And I walked in with a little notepad to take notes and stuff like that. And the sales agent goes, "Are you an investor? Like, are you looking to buy as an investment?" I was so gassed. I was like, you think I'm an investor? I was like, I'm considering weighing up my options. This person never calls me twice in a row unless it's an emergency. But yeah, so that was a journey.
Yeah. Okay.
Can we pause for a second?
Yeah.
It's my mom at that. Hi, mom. You all good?
Yeah, I have to fly in a second, anyways. So we'll wrap up. Yeah.
He bought me the Dandy, and he bought Adam the Beano. Yeah.
What minute is that, bro?
Great. I'm just on a podcast at the minute.
1:30.
All right, no, it's all good. You're all good. All right, cheers. Bye.
Cool. Yeah, we have to wrap anyway.
Yeah, cool. No, my mum was just ringing me there because my grandfather unfortunately passed, and he used to buy us either the Dandy. I don't know if you remember these comics, the Dandy or the Beano. No. They're comics that we used to get as kids, and I reckon my mum was buying them for us again this Christmas.
That's nice.
That's cool.
Nice.
No, but thanks for having me on.
Well,
thank you so much for coming on. Thanks for the invitation.
Very good chat.
Yeah, I think I was talking to one of my friends about kind of the role of the government in our lives, and he was just like, he said to me, he goes, bro, this government is affecting your life whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
It is on you to be informed, just so you can know what's happening. And I think that same sentiment is even more important here because of the power of the EU on our individual lives. So yeah, thank you so much for the information. Really appreciate you coming on.
No worries.
Yo, family, like, subscribe, and do all the good stuff, and we'll see you the next one.
Love.
Appreciate you.
Love. Thanks a million, lads. Appreciate it. Happy days.
When do you,
Oh, lads, sorry. One